very much these wedges that we see created, right? Like typically we make wedges like this off of something like this. So we're going to make this red, and this is kind of like wedges 1.0. This is not a daily level. This is just a bottom of a leg of a move, which is fine. So this is like wedges 2.0, right? Like you have a wedge something like, I don't know. We'll just do the backside of this, which what we can find. That's fine. We can continue to um, right here, right? You have a wedge like this, which would actually not, that would be a falling wedge. You'd have more of a wedge like this, which would actually be from, oh, magnet tool is driving me nuts right now. You hear that, magnet? You'd have more of a wedge like this, like the top side of this wedge, something like that, right? Like this uptrend wedge, something like that that's trying to break over this trend. Right? That's like your very typical wedge. Trend duality shows you a further advanced version of that, which is all sides of the wedge, the great wedge pattern, right? Like the great wedge pattern from this low here to, and it would be this swing here to this swing here. And I'm not drawing these wedges like this, rather I'm just using trend lines, but for illustration purposes for this anyways, fine. You have like trend tops like this, the top right there, and then you can drag this out here even more. There you go. That's the trend right there. So if you were to draw the trend, it would be kind of this top to this top. The magnet tool's off, of course. This top to this top, showing you the top side of trend. Whatever, fine, sure. You have this wedge. It's trend duality, right? It's both sides of the trend in these falling wedges, and the backside of trend becomes critical support. So we use these terms critical support. Like there's support everywhere. Hold level is support. A break level is a break level. A hold level is going to support a move going up. A break level is proposing to have something move down if it rejects its next level. So, for example, let's turn this orange. uh, Orange like that. So you have the break of a move, right? You have the leg of a move, which is right here, which is the break of a move, and then you have the same level that's a hold level on the top side. And we don't want that. We want this one, and we're going to do it like this, right? So you have this kind of hold of the move right here. So you have the inverse to the move right there. So you move down. You go back up, hit the hold level. You're on this break level right here. You're trying to break the move, and this would be the level that holds it back, right? So this is the inverse. This is the leg. So you come down, you bounce, you fail the move down completely, creating this trend here, which was not respected. It was for a little while. So in first light, this would have been like this, and you pull this to here. This would have been your kind of your first one, right? And that would have given you a critical support for the future, right? That's the point of trend duality, is finding critical support levels, best opportunities, best buy zones, critical support, what won't break down, and if it does, it's going to lose. And the same thing on the top side, right? Like the top side is just trend. You break trend, you're breaking critical resistance, right? That's a good way to look at trend. Trend duality is critical support and critical resistance. You break it on either side, you're either losing critical resistance or critical support. You break a trend, you have a huge move up. Is this not true? This is always true, because it's critical resistance. Just like if you were to inverse the chart, it's critical support, right? So it's very much the same thing, just like what our lovely Bitcoin is doing right now, right? Like it lost this critical, local critical support. And then you have this trend line down here, which is also trend duality. This is global critical support, right? So you have these levels of hold and break, but then you also have trends. And trend is the fuel. Just always remember that trend is the fuel, right? Like trend is fuel. So when you fuel something, it's going to juice. And the bigger the trend, the bigger the fuel, right? The bigger the trend, the higher the octane, or the different type of fuel it is, right? So when you have these trend breaks, realize that trend duality is showing you critical levels of importance. Just like when GTO count number 93 or whatever, it's going to break this wedge from how long ago, right? Like it's going to break this critical level from over 14 months ago. So what kind of fuel is that? Like it's been stewing for 14 months, right? Like it's been, what do they call that when like alcohol matures over time? It ages. There's a term for it. That's the same thing as trend. Doesn't matter. Fermentation. There you go. It's just fermenting for 14 months. Like it's just how potent is that going to be? Take one little sip, and you're the difference between drinking a 3 cream coffee and a 100 proof moonshine, right? So it's like, that's trend duality. That's why these things happen, right? So when you're looking at trend duality, it's understanding that it's almost like wedges 2.0, right? It's like what is the wedge showing you, right? You have these critical break levels that are trying to break. You have these critical support levels, and then even here, when you lose trend and you create your new trend, and then you come back and you where do you go to, right? Did you go to the valley that brought you there, which is here, to move up? Is that just the start of an uptrend? Was that the bottom of the start of an uptrend? Or are you continuously failing, right? Are you seeing rejection or retracement, right? Are you coming down to see retracement, and you hold that level off of this low to create the move up to that valley to attack, to get out of this trend to start an uptrend, because that's how an uptrend starts, right? It's all these combination of these things happening. You hit a critical support or a hold level, you use that to propel you up to another level. You hold it for long enough, and you break the critical resistance, right? So trend duality is and you're seeing it here, right? Like, okay, so fine, this then loses this, right? That's fine, and now has created this. So you're in this moment based on how, I don't know how long this trend goes. The longer the trend, the bigger the break up is going to be, right? So actually, we can leave that there. It's the wedge that's off, not the level. So now you're in this zone of critical resistance against critical support, and you've back tested this level to have a big move up in Venn, right? So now Venn is looking to start to take its, you know what, magnet tool, I swear to God. Now Venn is looking to take its move, right? Like Venn has back tested its level, but is still failing down against this critical level. Like it has to hold this critical level before it creates a new one. But if it breaks down this critical level, it's going to simply just continue to break down and create a new lower low, right? So trend duality is understanding where the length of one trend and the length of another trend. So the length of this trend here versus the length of this trend, and which one is going to break, because eventually you'll come to this point where there's nothing left to lose, and that's where we're at right now. Go look at metal, right? Metal's in that same situation. Metal, there's nothing left to lose on metal. Like if we go down for another week, we're going to be 50% down. Like there's nothing left on this trend. Now the yellow trend could be the trend. So you know we could actually see like 4 days of movement up, but then but by the time we're at August 1st, we're at 200 sats. Like we've lost 50% of the value in metal within the next from the 50, like 14 days, and we lose 50%. Like, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Can it happen? For sure it can happen. Of course it can happen. However, is it going to? I don't know. Like, you're getting pretty thin on some of these moves. These moves are pretty thin. Like, this is trend duality, right? Like, this is the trend duality that happens from here to here. Come on. Well, that would be way too low. So you're more likely going to have something in the moment right now. So something like this. That's your trend duality, which is actually perfectly fine. It's from this low to this low here. So this is your trend duality, right? If you lose this, then yeah, okay, maybe you make a new trend low, but this is trend duality, right? Like, this is critical support trying to get out of this downtrend. So that's your trend duality, retracement, rejection, trend duality, moving averages, local and global trends. That's a good one to review. We're going to review local and global trends right now as well. Okay, so we are going to go to what coin can we do? Let's do Ripple. Why not? Don't care about that. This is going to be a quick one because this is actually quite easy to get into. Go to a 4-hour right here. How do you create an origin level, right? How do you create local and global trends, right? Like, we all know how to create global and locals. Like, the global levels are the biggest time frames, right? So you could even just do something like this. You have this here. Has anything closed over it on the weekly? No, nothing has closed over it. You're trying to have a move in Ripple that is showing you a pretty crazy move up. So nothing has closed over it. This is going to be your global level. It's the biggest one, right? This is very straightforward. Global level. Has anything closed over this? This one has, and this one has right here. So we're going to go to the first one right there. It's a pretty good global trend. From that, we make our Sorry, legacy trend. From that, we make our, which is too close. Nope, not like that. Not like this. Not like this Trinity. I don't know if anybody got that, but hopefully nobody did. So then you have your global level, which is the trend off the trend. And then you have, I swear to God, some of the things I say, I don't know. Then you have your local trend, which is like this. And how local that is up to you, what you're targeting in the move, because you even do have another local trend. So if you were to say like, okay, this is one local trend like this, which would technically be a global trend, making the blue one a legacy trend, making the purple one like the master trend, or whatever you want to call it, like master trend, fine. And then you'd have even more local level, which would be this guy here to this here, which would just try to start the move getting out of the local distribution channel, right? Local targets global, global targets legacy, but there is no legacy target. There is only ever a global target. Legacy doesn't exist. Legacy is just a term that's used to show that there is a larger target in the making. So once these two were to break, like if these two were to break, it would simply make this a local trend, because these are gone and broken. So this becomes local, and this is the global's local. So and if you break, the idea behind that is if you break locals, your next target is global. If you break this global and you're still moving up, the next target is this. You cannot target let's get something straight. You cannot target a legacy trend in a local move. It's not possible. You can only target a global trend, and once that global trend is hit, the reaction thereafter, in this moment, right? So let's say this never existed. We already gained this. The second you move and hit this, this is what happens. Come on, Jesus. That goes like this. This goes like this to blue, until you have an event that creates something else. So you have a pullback, hold, break up, pull back, hold, break up to an untouched chart. Actually, there would be a level at that point. It would just be something else. It would just be a different type of swing. Like then you would be targeting this right here, like something like this to. Okay, so then it would be like this to this would be your new legacy, right? So you would have a legacy target always.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.